Today's video, I'm talking about 10 filmmaking tips that I wish I knew sooner before I got into wedding videography. Tip number one of the most important if you ask me, and that's to not overlook your audio. One of the biggest and most important pieces to creating a powerful story starts with capturing quality audio on the wedding day. And not only capturing quality audio, but making sure that you have multiple sources as well. Some of my favorite audio recorders to use on a wedding are the Tascam DR10L Pro, the Sony TX660, especially for the wedding reception, my Zoom H6, which is another backup solution for the DJ system, and then the DJI Mic 2 for the bride, which leads me into number two, and that is the lack of backup equipment. Having spare batteries for your cameras, having multiple SD cards, and at least one additional camera, especially if you are a solo shooter. Look, I get it, when you're just getting started, you are limited financially, which is why I recommend you rent an additional camera if you can swing it for your wedding coming up. You are capturing someone's wedding day, and you want to make sure that you're taking every precaution necessary because, as we all know, there are no redos when it comes to someone's wedding day. Number three is variety. More specifically, variety in the shots that you capture. The key to making a wedding film feel as if there were multiple filmmakers capturing the day is to capture a variety of angles during every moment. And the easiest way to do that when you are just starting out is to make sure that you have a zoom lens. A zoom lens has become incredibly invaluable, especially for me in my process, because this lens is incredibly versatile, allows you to keep your position while capturing multiple focal lengths. And when it comes to creating a visually interesting story, variety is key. Number four is to focus on your composition over your movement. In the beginning, your composition matters so much more than your movement. Unless your movement is motivated by your couple, I recommend paying attention to your framing above everything else. Use your camera's grid, the rule of thirds, leading lines to help you create a visually interesting frame. And focusing on composition over your movement is not only important for the aesthetics of your film, but it's also going to help teach you patience on the wedding day. Because so often I know myself in the early days of filming weddings, I would be just a wreck. I'd have so much anxiety. I'd be doing this, doing that, doing all the things that I shouldn't do because I was just so frantic and thought that I needed to have movement in every single shot, and I just couldn't sit still. But some of the best wedding films I have found, especially ones that I have created, come from just being patient and letting the moment unfold naturally and just focusing on being still and focusing on composition over creating movement within every single frame. Next is to be a fly on the wall. If you want to create an amazing first experience for your couples and for your vendors, then you want to blend into the background. We've seen the horror stories, we've seen the posts on Facebook, we've seen the controversy when it comes to videographers versus photographers, or why are they being so intrusive? Why are they standing up there right in the couple's face during their vows? And really, you want to focus on being a fly on the wall. You want to blend in. You don't want to intrude, but you want to capture what is naturally. The goal of wedding videography is to capture what is, to capture the natural reactions and create a beautiful film through those genuine reactions. Because staying discreet really is the best recipe for a successful wedding film, especially if it is your first time, because it not only benefits the couple, but it also helps you understand more of the process. Number six is to test your equipment. I have to admit, I'm a little ashamed at how many times I've had to update my drone on location before I could fly it and capture my establishing shots. One time, true story, it took me 30 minutes just to update my drone, which led me to having to ditch the drone altogether just to capture what I had to capture for the day, which led me to have to come back to the venue on a separate day because the couple ordered drone and I had to get it incorporated in their story. So yeah, make sure that you are testing your equipment day before so that you don't have to do this on location, stress out, and create this unnecessary anxiety. Another tip that I wish I knew sooner, especially when it comes to the editing process, is the fact that you can actually outsource your films. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. I certainly thought that I had to edit every single one of my films, that this responsibility solely relied on me. And it wasn't until I found Uncut Gems that I realized that I can actually pass on my films to trusted individuals who can take my work and turn it into a beautifully crafted wedding film. I can get more time back in my business, back in my life to focus on things that truly bring me joy. And right now you can do the same by heading over to uncutgems.com, use my code wayward65 at checkout so that you too can kick backlog in the face and get back to being excited about your business. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get back into some filmmaking tips. Number 8 is don't focus solely on the bride. One common mistake that is easy to get caught up in is spending too much time on the bride versus the groom. The day is about both of these people. It's about their families, and you want to make sure that you have equal amounts of footage of both of them, and you're not catering more time in the edit to one person over the other, which I have been super guilty of. You really want a balance of both of these people. And sometimes it's hard, especially if the groom doesn't care as much as the bride, but do your best to include both of these characters so that you can have a well-balanced story. Number 9 is to capture establishing shots. Wedding days can be so fast-paced that you simply forget to capture establishing shots. You forget to capture the location, which can cause spatial confusion later on in your edit. The location is such an important component to your couple's day, and you really want to make sure that you take the time to highlight it. For me, in my process, I love to just go ahead and capture establishing shots as soon as I arrive to the wedding, which is why I get there at least 30 minutes to an hour early so that I can capture all of my establishing shots. I can get my drone in the air, I capture the location, and that way I can focus more on the couple throughout the day, and I don't have to stress about, did I capture location? Did I get this area? Did I get that? And I can keep my focus centralized on the story and my couple. And number 10 is the 5-second rule. For your B-roll, I like to count to 5 Mississippi for every single shot, because this is going to give you creative flexibility in the edit later on. Because on the day, it's super hard to understand what moments you're going to use in its entirety, what moments you're going to use for 1 to 2 seconds. So it's better to capture longer moments than just only capture a short interval of that moment. When it comes to these genuine moments, having more is so much better than having less. And you don't want to have to rely on slowing down every single shot just to extend that moment, especially if you're trying to create a film that feels very genuine and authentic. Of course, I can go into a whole other list of filmmaking tips that can really help you guys navigate the wedding day for the first time, or even as a 5-6 year veteran in the space. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I appreciate you so much. If you resonate with any of these tips or have some tips of your own, I'd love to hear from you guys, so drop them in the comments below. And until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.